Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And welcome to episode 340. That is a nice cup of tea. A nice cup of tea to record episode 340.
Got any bickies?
I had a couple of bickies earlier. I obviously can't be munching on biscuits when recording the old podcast. That wouldn't be professional.
I just mentioned it because I was listening to your round table with the writing team and you were talking about dunking biscuits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can tell a lot from a person by the sort of biscuit that they dunk in their tea, if they dunk at all.
Oh, you got to dunk.
It's an important thing. Yeah.
Couldn't be friends if you're not a dunker.
That could be a deal breaker. So what we're going to name the kids? Oh, I don't know. Who knows? Tom, David, Colin. I don't know. What we're going to name the kids. More importantly, do you dunk your biscuit?
Yeah.
The answer's no. See you later.
There's only one correct answer.
There is. There can be only one correct answer to that question. Welcome back, Doctor Who listener, to another week and another episode. This is 340. I hope you've had a good week. You've been safe, and I hope you've had a cracking week, as always, and you've managed to do something Doctor Who related.
Indeed.
Whatever that might be. Whether you've stuck on BritBox and watched some Doctor Who, whether you've fired up iPlayer and watched some Torchwood for our review, or you've watched an episode from one of the many versions of the Doctor Who box sets that you might have picked up recently. Whatever you've watched, it's all good. I hope you've done something. We've got no news to go through this week. We've got a couple of little rumours and little bits to mention that have been doing the rounds recently from a certain tabloid newspaper. And of course, now that's gospel and everybody thinks that's a thing, and that's exciting. So before we kick off with the show proper, remember to follow this podcast in your fave podcast app so you won't miss a show. A new one lands every single Friday, so get on it and get it subscribed and followed and whatnot. Every episode is available for free on all of the podcast networks and all that stuff. If you want to find links to those, just go to bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk/listen. It will take you off to all those things there. And talking of the website, which is just bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, you can listen on there as well. Every episode is available to listen to for free on there. Plus, we have a bunch of very cool reviews and articles and opinion pieces on the website from our cool writing team, so check those out. We're on the socials too, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Search for us, or links are on the website. We chat Doctor Who throughout the week, and we have a free Discord server. So there's a link on the website, hop over there and come and hang out and chat Doctor Who with other Who fans. And also check out my co-host Adam's channel over on YouTube. It is, of course, The Geek's Handbag.
Yes, The Geek's Handbag. Loads of Doctor Who videos on there, and also on the socials, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
And the gram. He's all over the
Instagram.
gram.
I love Instagram, yeah. Love posting pics.
I bloody love Instagram sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Not
sometimes I find it boring. Like sometimes I'll open it up and I'll have a scroll through like, nothing. Other times it'll be, wow, some very cool people have posted stuff. I won't say what bucket you fall into on that side. Keep that a mystery.
I think I know. I think I get it.
But yes, go and just do all the things basically after you've listened to the episode, of course.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we crack on with our review, just a couple of bits. Dude, you went to an event, didn't you, the weekend? It was kind of cool. Yeah,
I did my first convention of the year, which was nice. And mate. So I went to Fantom in Chiswick, which we've been to quite a lot of their events over the years. Very nice chilled events, and it was one of those where I wasn't sure where to go. It's when I say last minute decision, because me and the other half, I kind of wanted to go, but thought I was going to be in the doghouse because I'd sort of made plans with the other half. And anyway, to cut a long story short, on the Saturday morning, I was just looking in my little Doctor Who group chat, and everyone was meeting up. It seemed like everyone was going, and I love the TARDIS photo shoots they do. And I was just like, I'm going to go. And I literally like jumped. I said, can you give me this to the station? I jumped on the train because literally if I hadn't have got a train at a certain time, it just no point because it wouldn't have made it to the photo shoot I wanted to do, which was at 1 o'clock. So I jumped on the train and there was one ticket left showing on the Fantom website. It just said one in stock. So I bought my Fantom ticket and train ticket on the train that I rushed to get. And I literally got on it within like minutes to spare. And I got there and I had such a good day. It was one of those where, because I was sort of sat on the train, panicking, rushing, going mad. I thought, oh, why am I doing this to myself? Like, have I made the wrong choice? I'm going to be in the doghouse. I'm going to spend money I haven't got. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I had such a good day. I was so glad I went. So Bonnie Langford was there, who I've met a couple of times, but not for a long time. I've got a lovely photo with her in the TARDIS prop that they have there. And Bonnie I'd put her in the sort of Katie Manning, Sophie Aldred category of that. She is one of those people that is so nice to meet. She's just very genuinely engaging.
Mm-hmm. She is cool. Yeah, she's very cool.
Yeah, Bonnie is just lovely. I mean, I just always find her so friendly. And Kevin McNally was there. Obviously, was Professor Jericho in Flux, and he also played. I forget the character's name. He was in the Twin Dilemma, Colin's first one. The guy wore a lovely sparkly jacket in there. I can't remember the character's name.
Dude, before you move on,
yeah,
Kevin McNally, I didn't realise that he was in all of the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yes, he's in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. He's done loads, actually.
How did I not clock? Yeah,
well, I didn't know he's written a couple of episodes of Minder as well, because I love Minder and Sweeney and all that. He wrote them
tune for Minder, one of the best.
Yeah. Sing the theme tune, write the theme tune. Yeah, he wrote them with another guy under a pseudonym, and I had no idea about that. Kevin was, again, really nice to meet. I got a cool picture of him, really cool autograph as well. Everyone was asking him to sign the same quote, so they were all giving him pictures of from Flux, and they were saying, oh, can you put what an awfully big adventure. Luckily I was early on in the queue. I can imagine by the time he got to the end of it, he's like, oh, not that blimmin' quote again.
Yeah.
So he's very nice to meet. And also, I mean, there are loads of other people there, but the ones I met were those two, and I also met Michael Jaston, who played the Valeyard, the Scrapyard.
Oh yeah, how is he these days? I've met him before, but he's knocking on a bit now.
He is getting on, actually, and he's a really nice guy. He's one of those people that's like, he comes across, you'd look at him and think he looks grumpy and cantankerous, and then as soon as you start talking to him, he's actually nothing like that at all. Do you know what I mean? He's just one of those people that's got a slightly, like, if you watch the extra with him and Colin Baker on the Blu-ray set, the round table thing, and that he's got this very dry wit, if you know what I mean. But he's a really nice guy. He just he's got a very fun, dry, sort of almost grumpy sense of humour. I can't really explain it, but hopefully you know what I mean. Yeah, but nice guy, really nice guy. Yeah, and you're right. I think he's 80 odd. I'm not sure. So yes, it was great to meet him, and I got a cool pic signed of the Valeyard, so that was really cool. Great day, and then we went to the pub after and had a few bevies. It was really good, and met up with loads of people.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah.
Sounds good, dude. I love those Fantom events. I haven't been to one in a while. They're a bit more close-knit, aren't they? A bit more personal than the big ones. Oh, yeah, because it's so small. It's they do it in this tiny little church hall in Chiswick, and I think there's only about 150 people there or something. It's very, very small scale, which is lovely because you get to meet the same people every time you go, and it's more like a fan meetup. Really good events. Yeah, really good fun. Nice. Congratulations to the people of Newport over at Acacia Avenue for your new TARDIS refurb. Looks very good. Don't know if you've seen this on the BBC News website. Yeah. Under BBC, go to BBC News / I think you just click on UK and then Wales and then in Newport. Yeah. So apparently they've had a police box there since the 1930s. It's grade 2 listed. Wow. And it just fell into sort of disrepair and looked a bit rubbishy over the years. Hasn't been shown any love from the council or anything like that. So they put some money aside and they've done it all up, and it's now a very, very nice TARDIS blue, and they've painted the Fourth Doctor's scarf around it, and it looks lovely.
Oh, wicked. Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant. Oh, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, so people of Newport, enjoy your refurbed TARDIS. Looks very nice.
Excellent.
So go and check it out. And before we crack on with our review, I assume you've seen the rumour doing the rounds, dude. So as we run up to the new series of Doctor Who and we eagerly await the casting announcement, we've got a new frontrunner. Someone has jumped the queue ahead of Ollie, whatever his name is. And
Alexander.
That's him, yep. And some other people. So remember Faddy, the guy that played whatever his character name was in the multi-Oscar, Emmy, BAFTA award-winning show Class?
Oh, yes, I remember him.
Yeah. Apparently he's a front runner now, according to probably the most trustworthy, legitimate tabloid newspaper here in the UK, The Sun.
Oh.
So what do you think to that? It sounds legit to me.
Well, I was about to laugh you off the face of the earth then, but now you said it's reported in The Sun, I can only assume it's 100% legit.
Yeah.
Where has this come from? I mean, these rumours are getting crazy, actually, now. If you think about it, I almost feel like they're sat in an office just saying, put this out there, and then cracking up laughing. Because David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Faddy from Class. I mean, what is going on? This has got to be a joke, hasn't it?
It's not a joke, dude. It's picked up some traction because generally what happens is there are two types of news that come out into the world. I think you have these type of rumours. It's a bit of a shame, really, because you have information that gets put out there by the BBC or by, I don't know, Chris Chibnall or Russell T Davies, whatever. And everyone's like, yay, that's cool. That's really good news. But then you have a bit of news that's put out by something like the Mirror or the Sun, and it just spreads like wildfire. It's like
Wildfire.
goes 10 times what the official news is. So unfortunately, it's now picked up traction. And is there a seed of truth in it? Maybe. Is Faddy speaking or has spoken to Russell or Bad Wolf or the BBC or a combination of those people to talk about auditioning or, applying for the role of the Doctor? Maybe, yes. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I
it
don't
just
know.
seems,
I can't see it.
Yeah, it just seems. It could. I don't know. The thing is with these rumours is that obviously no one ever takes credit until it becomes true. So the only thing that you can go on and is in the article and on the Sun website is according to quote unquote sources. So
sources, yeah.
What those sources are, as always, you never know. Is it just a bit of made up thing just to take the focus away from something else, which sometimes happens? Who knows? I don't know. But
could he be a companion, do you think? Can you imagine like him and maybe he's the companion and Lydia West is the Doctor or something like that? I don't know. I could sort of see that. I can't see him as Doctor material. The only thing is I'd quite like it in a way because I met him at the Class premiere many years ago, so I got a picture with him so I could tick the box and be like, oh, I've already met the Doctor, that's cool.
Yeah,
but
maybe,
no,
I don't know. Yeah, I can't. I really don't know. It's a tough one because sometimes casting announcements that you think on the surface would be ridiculous actually turn out to be very, very good. So I don't know. I mean, we've seen it over the years with TV and big films and whatnot where you hear the casting announcement and your first thought is, that's just completely ridiculous. It just doesn't work, but then it ends up being absolutely amazing. So who knows, dude? But it does sound like a bit of a weird one to have been surfaced by the Sun newspaper and has now picked up traction, and the bookies have picked up on it now, so he's in the list. You can put a bet on it and all that rubbish. So who knows, dude? But
I probably wouldn't put a bet on it. I just can't see him as Doctor material. Lovely guy, by the way. I remember when I met him, really nice chap, Faddy. But I just can't see him as the Doctor somehow. I don't know.
I think the Sun doesn't do itself any favours when they try and latch on to other descriptions of these, because the thing is, Faddy hops the queue and goes to the front of the line as front runner for the new Doctor. Yeah. And then the next sentence is, he'll also be the most attractive. So they kind of shoot themselves in the foot by trying to legitimately say here's a new potential Doctor, but and the Sun are full of it at the minute because they also said, according to them, that Russell T Davies is about to announce the casting decision for the new Doctor in the coming weeks. Really? And the new series is going to start filming in April.
Blimey.
So the Sun they've got their Doctor Who hat on at the minute.
Yeah, so it really feels like, I mean, this sort of feels like the sort of thing that happens when, it's just Jodie is still got a couple to go. It really does feel like they've just forgotten about the last couple. It's like they've moved on, haven't they? Everything's moved on.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
we'll see. I'm not putting any
yeah.
bets on him. Sorry, Faddy. Lovely man, lovely guy, but I'm not putting any bets on you. Can't see it.
You watch, dude. 3 or 4 weeks time.
I'll be digging out my selfie with him. I'll be like, where is it? Going through my pictures
You
like
watching?
10 years ago, whatever it was.
In 3 or 4 weeks time, there'll be a Twitter announcement from the official Doctor Who Twitter account saying big announcement dropping at midnight or some press conference or whatever. And it'll be those 3 things. Faddy's the new Doctor. Filming starts in April. There you go. Bosh.
Yeah. Bosh.
But there we go. That's some rumours and stuff just to tease you for a little bit. Not from our point of view, obviously, but from the legitimate, awesome, very credible UK press.
Yeah, right.
Review time, dude. Tell us what we got.
Yeah, so we're moving on with Torchwood, Children of Earth, and this time we're on day 2.
Target 1's eliminated. 2 and 3 have escaped, but we're in pursuit.
We need that whole team out of the way by tonight. Get it done.
What's going on, man? Listen, someone is trying to kill me, and if they're after me, they're going to come after you. Who do you work for?
What sort of civil servant are you?
Unappreciated ones.
It's happened again.
They're coming!
Right now, you lot need us. The whole world needs us.
Oh, that scream.
Ooh, I know. Ooh.
Oof.
Who was that scream? Is that Jack?
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack.
So, actually, a Captain Jack / John Barrowman light episode in this one.
Yes, very much so. Although we do get to see a lot of him.
Yeah.
At the end, albeit, yeah.
Yes. Now,
you know what I mean.
What's the best way to say this bit?
Careful now.
There's a couple of scenes in this episode where John Barrowman is not exactly clothed. Now, I don't want this to be misconstrued with the recent controversy that John Barrowman found himself in over the last 9-10 months, I guess, something like that. The two things at the moment are very unrelated, and we're not going to go down that road of John Barrowman being naked for any reason other than being in front of the camera to put across the fact that he was blown to bits and his body is coming back together, and that is it. We are not going down any. I don't want anyone tweeting the podcast afterwards saying, "How dare you talk about John Barrowman and being nude and stuff like that." We're not talking about that stuff in the news and all that. That's over there somewhere. That can stay over there in a little box. This is just for the episode.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I feel like I feel safe now that we've got that out of the way, but I also feel a bit crappy that I have to say that because I know what's coming afterwards.
Yeah.
So, go on.
No, I was going to say, to be fair, it's in the script. Let's give him some slack. It's in the script,
Yes.
and if you are a blown up body and you're growing back, to be fair, your clothes aren't gonna grow back with you. So we can we can see why it's artistically done.
Yeah, this is not an old school
Although the
classic.
bit where he's handed a towel and throws it over his shoulder, maybe not in the script, but anyway, yeah.
This is not an old school classic Incredible Hulk episode where he hulks out and his body expands 6 times the size, but his shorts still fit him. We can't be doing that. This is documentary, real life stuff, but not. So Torchwood, day 2 of Children of Earth, was first broadcast on the 7th of July, 2009. And it was written by John Fay, directed by Euros Lyn. And the synopsis is Torchwood 3 has been blown up by a bomb planted in Jack Harkness. Gwen, Reese and Yanto are on the run. Can they elude the government and save the planet from the 456? Question mark. What do you think, dude?
So I thought this was a cracking second episode. Actually, I really enjoyed it. It's if anything, it ramps up the action quite a lot. So I thought day 1 set the story really well, and we both thought it was a good start to this series. And I think this one really just upped it to the next level. And it does. I thought actually when this ended, I thought that was really good. Loads of action. The story progressed quite nicely. We got a few more little breadcrumbs thrown at us about the 456 and who or what they might be after and all this sort of stuff. And there's lots of other things coming into play now, like Frobisher, obviously a bit of a shady character. So yeah, it progressed really well, I thought, day 2. The only thing I'm worried about is, so it's 5 episodes, isn't it? This is 5 days, isn't it? Or
Yes.
is it 6?
Yes, 5.
So I'm thinking, I'm just hoping it doesn't sort of take a dip, because that's the thing, is it's so far this has been really good, I think. Children of Earth, I've really enjoyed both parts so far, and I keep worrying that at some point there's got to be a dip or something, but yeah, I thought it was a great second episode, loads of action, and production wise, so I was interested when you said it was 2009 because I couldn't remember when it came out. Production wise, I think it looked really good. I mean, it hasn't dated at all, I don't think. Like, the destroyed Cardiff at the start looked fantastic, I thought. I mean, how did they...
Yep.
I think what they've done is, I think they've obviously put a few burning bits of scrap around Cardiff Bay, and then I'm assuming that they've CGI'd over that to make it look destroyed. I don't know. But either way, it really looked good. I was surprised how good the episode looked. So, yeah, it's a thumbs up, mate. I'm really enjoying this so far. I hope it continues. I mean, people might be thinking, well, you've seen it before, you must know. I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember. It's so long ago since I watched this series. I remember enjoying it, but I can't remember if it's good all the way through. But so far, day 1, day 2, 2 cracking episodes. Really liked it.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I'm really loving this
good.
so far,
Excellent.
man. It's such a good direction for Torchwood to go in.
Yes, definitely.
And I think it's because it's got that big... There's nothing wrong with the storytelling concepts that they did in the previous 2 series, where you have kind of an arc that runs through. It's like a typical TV series storytelling method, I think, where you have a loose arc that runs through it, and then you have individual isolated stories, creature features, creature of the week things, and then you kind of you kind of coalesce all that at the end, and you have a finale, and that's all good. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think because it's a very short series and it's just one big story, and it's very the cards are not on the table yet. We're 2 episodes in and we still don't know exactly what the 456 are, what their motives are, what they look like, or anything like that. There's still that big air of mystery around that, which is very cool. So I think what that does is it takes the direction of each of the Torchwood 3 characters and gives them a real purpose and real something to get their teeth into. Because in the previous series that we reviewed, we often found ourselves saying, right, John Barrowman was very good in this episode and Eve Miles was great, but the other guys are just in the background.
Yeah.
They look a bit bored in some episodes. They don't really do anything. You can't say that really so far, these first 2 episodes, these first 2 days. So it's really, really cool that they've actually got a huge threat on them and on Cardiff and potentially the world with the 456. So you can feel like you can sort of, if you know that they're on the ropes already, it's not I don't feel like this version of Torchwood is a few episodes of just finding its feet and for throwing in some adult stuff for the sake of it, and then at some point we'll see an alien. It's really just like, bosh, day 1, the end of day 1, it's the hub has been blown up, Jack's been blown up, and now on this one, Gwen and Yanto are on the run, the government are after them, and so it just continues to be a very, very cool, a mature story, but it kind of really sells the concept of Torchwood perfectly for me. So back when Torchwood was announced many moons ago, and Russell T Davies said, right, I'm going to do this spin-off with Jack Harkness and the other Torchwood stuff, and it's going to be a more adult version of Doctor Who. This is what I class as the perfect adult version of Doctor Who.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think tonally they've hit the nail absolutely right with this, haven't they? Yeah, I mean, the tone of series 1 and 2 was very up and down in terms of it could be too adult for the sake of it or childish at times. The tone of this so far has been absolutely bang on. It is like Doctor Who, but slightly more adult in tone without going too far. It's perfect, actually. And I agree with you. What I'm liking about this series so far, it feels like it's really rocking and rolling. Like the stakes are really high. I love the fact that everyone's got something to do. Even Yanto has been great so far in the series. He's had loads to do. And the threat level as well. This thing of the 456 looming over them. We are coming. And then this week we are coming tomorrow. It's like, oh, brilliant. This big looming threat of what on earth's going to happen when they arrive in that box that they're specially making. It's it's really building up very well. It's really, the tension's really ramping up, which I love. But there's loads going on. I genuinely have not been bored at all throughout these two parts so far. I've really been sort of engrossed in the story. Yeah,
same, dude. Same. And it's really cool that you described it as this big looming thing that's on its way, the 456, and it's really cool because it's almost the same kind of story that we have in the old Will Smith Independence Day.
Oh, what, Independence Day? Yeah,
where we have that for ages. Where there's a bit in that film where all the spaceships sort of go over the big cities of the Earth, and everybody thinks, are they friendly? Are they not friendly? What's going to happen? And it's exactly the same thing. It's this big looming, what's going to happen. So
what do they want?
So it feels very, almost feels very Hollywood film-esque in its scale, I suppose, because they told us very early on. I think back in halfway through series, day one or episode one, where somebody picked up on the fact that all of the kids are speaking English all around the world. So that gives it this kind of global feeling where it's not just an alien that's let loose in Cardiff, and that's your lot. This is like a global threat, which is very cool. Well, potential threat, we don't know exactly. I mean, they're very much. I can't remember this Torchwood series very well, so I remember thinking, right, they've got to be evil aliens, because the kids, when they get taken over and that voice comes out of them, it sounds very ominous and very dark and stuff like that. And so we assume at the moment that they do not come in peace, but I can't remember exactly how that plays out. We wouldn't talk about it anyway, because
I genuinely can't either.
No.
Which is really good, actually. I genuinely cannot remember anything after this. Like I'm not sat here thinking, oh yeah, in the next episode this happens, that happens. I can't remember any of it at all, surprisingly. So I'm assuming they're bad. I think they are. I don't know, which is good. I feel like I'm going into this a bit fresh, actually, which is nice.
Well, it was back in 2009, so
yeah, I suppose that's when I would have watched it, and I've definitely watched it again since. Maybe I've only watched it once, maybe twice since then, but certainly not for a few years.
Yeah. You mentioned the production stuff. I also thought it was really good. Really good. I'm loving the I watched this on BBC iPlayer, and I'm not sure, I think at this point this particular series was filmed in HD, and you can definitely tell. And I think when you buy the Torchwood Blu-ray box set, I think the first two series are filmed in standard definition and are just upscaled, but I'm 99% sure from this point onwards it's filmed in HD, because it looks nice and crisp and cool, and the opening credits are really nice, and it just looks really cool. But that scene that you mentioned down at the bay in, was it Roald Dahl Circle or whatever that's called in Cardiff?
Yeah,
that just looks I was really surprised at that, because you don't really see too much of it at the very beginning. So the start of the episode, for the listener that's not seen it, the start of the episode picks up immediately after the end of the first one. So Jack had the bomb surgically planted inside him. It explodes at the end, and then it starts at the beginning with Gwen and Yanto just completely out of it. They've taken the brunt of the blast as well, and you really only see like a bit of rubble and some metal girder and stuff dotted around. But then there's a couple of scenes where later on where the I think it's a character called Johnson, who's been hired by Frobisher to sort of get the government troops involved to take out Torchwood. She's monitoring what's going on as they're looking for the remains of Jack. And there's a couple of wide shots, and it just looks amazing, like it was done yesterday. So I think in Cardiff Bay they had built like a rough. I think you're right, dude. That it was sort of set and CG because they built like a rough.
I think it is.
Because there's a set photo of it on Wiki where you can see they've built like the explosion area. So there's like loads of rubble and stuff all over the place. But then when you see they pull back and you see the wide shot, they've enhanced that with loads of extra stuff. And it just looks awesome. Like really, really good.
It's obviously had some money thrown at it, isn't it? Because it feels, this has felt quite epic so far, almost like a movie. But normally these things, when you go back and revisit them after, this is, 2009, 13 years ago, you'd expect it to look more dated, wouldn't you? You'd think you'd go back and think, oh yeah, I bet this looked great in the day, but it really, the whole episode looked really, really good. And the shootout as well at the start, the first sort of 10 minutes, we have a proper good shootout around Cardiff Bay. Some great action sequences in this, really well shot. Eurus Lynn, I mean, that's a name that pops up quite a lot, isn't it? The director. I see every time I see that name, I think, oh, Eurus Lynn. Did a few Doctor Who's as well, I'm pretty sure. Is that the one that Eccleston really liked or whatever?
Yeah,
I remember him saying, I'll come back if you get Eurus Lynn to do it, I think. I'm not sure if it was them anyway. But yeah, it's nicely directed, and it the whole episode just looks really good.
Yeah.
I like the fact in the writing as well, we got some nice humour, and it's not all just action. There's some really good moments in this. I mean, that's what I mean about not being bored. Even the slow moments were like with Gwen and Reese in the truck, when they're talking about the baby. It's some really lovely moments in this, hiding in the potato truck. I just thought that was that was brilliant. And I'm really loving, because obviously we've got a scaled down Torchwood team now. I'm loving the fact that Reese and Gwen are sort of working as a team. They've been pushed into working as a team in this, and they're just brilliant together, those two. I think we should have had more of this, earlier on in the series, but it's great that we're getting it now. They're so good together, those two. And I love the fact that she's told him she's pregnant, so he's really sort of stepping up to the plate, isn't he, Reese? Which is good. I think this is something we've been waiting for since the show started, because he's such a good character, but was often resided just sort of one little cameo scene of comedy, and now he's properly in it. You feel like he's like a new member of Torchwood, which is cool. That was a great line as well, in the potato truck, when he's like, oh, you don't want to arrive with an empty stomach, because he's talking about food. He's like, he's starving hungry, and she's like, I just love the what do you call it, the empty stomach line, because obviously she's pregnant and he's talking about food, and she turns it around to tell him that she's pregnant. I thought that was a lovely play on words. That really liked that. But just loving those two together. I think they're brilliant. The comedy, the action, they do it so well. Gwen is so kick-ass. Blimmin' heck at the end where she's doing the shootout, and I love Gwen so much. She really is just such an awesome character, and so brilliantly played by Eve Miles. She's so good, isn't she?
She has a great one.
She's like firing off left, right, and centre, and brilliant.
Well, she has two really good action scenes. Yeah. So at the beginning, right, when the two ambulance drivers, who are not really ambulance
she shoots
drivers,
one in the toe.
Yeah. So she clobbers one and she drives the ambulance off, and then the guy who wakes up in the back, he's got the syringe, and he's about to stab her, and she doesn't know, and she shoots him in the foot, but that's really cool. And then at the end, when Yanto gets the forklift truck and takes the concrete cell that Jack's buried in, she hops on. She's like, Reese, move that truck, and then she shoots it and it blows up. And
I know. I was thinking, blooming heck, let Reese get out of the way. She nearly blows him to smithereens.
She's very cool in this. She's very badass through most of it, actually. And
did you think that was going to be the cliffhanger? Because when they were getting trapped, they found Jack in the cement, which I thought was funny, and then they're trapped, and I thought that's how the episode was going to end. And then when Yanto bursts in with the truck, the forklift truck, I felt like, oh, okay, we're still going, but that felt like the cliffhanger to me. But it was still a good end to the episode. Yeah.
You mean when you thought they were going to be captured at the end? It's because
I thought that was because it really builds up to a good tense moment of them being trapped, and you think, well, how are they going to get out of this? I thought I was waiting for the credits to roll until Yanto burst in with a forklift truck, but just felt it's just a real good build up to that scene. I thought.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about Gwen and Reese as well. They do work so well together. They right off the bat as well. You know, when she bursts in and he's asleep, and she's like, "Right, we got to go," and he doesn't know what's going on. But
he's packing all his little bits.
Yeah, within a matter of seconds, though, he doesn't even have to question really what's going on. I think he fires her a few questions like, "What the bloody hell's going on?" She's like, "Someone's trying to kill me, so they're going to be after you as well. We need to go." And that's it. He's just up. He's getting dressed, and then it's kind of cool as well to see Gwen as the female lead in that dynamic as well, because he's kind of, as a character, he's playing it very well. He's sort of happy-go-lucky, but then he immediately falls into that, okay, this is your world, you know what you're doing, because there's a scene where he's carrying stuff and she has a little nag at him and he's like, well, you need your trigger finger on your gun sort of thing. And
I liked that.
Yeah, so he sort of but he's happy to just be like, okay, you're the lead, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they work so well. The scene in the cafe as well, which we'll come on to, they're really good in that. And I just love
where he gets jealous as well when the guys, because you think they're going to get caught out, he almost flips, doesn't he? And Gwen's looking at him like, "You've blown it, Reese, you've blown it." And of course he hasn't, but that was a good scene.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. So the one of the government soldier dudes has hired some undertakers to come in to remove the body of the doctor that was killed in the last episode. And they kidnap the undertaker, leave him in a coffin by the side of the road, and that, which is very cool in itself. And there's that great bit where he's chatting her up, and he explodes. He's like, "She's happily married, thank you." And she's like that. She's like sign language behind him, like, "Shut up,
zip it, shut up."
All just great stuff, you know. In the previous episodes of Doctor Who, that would have been Doctor Who. In the previous series of Torchwood, that probably would have been a scene where the guard would have kissed Gwen and she would have flirted with him and just all that stuff. But we don't need it here. It's all cool. So, I agree, dude. Those two together were very, very good.
They work so well, those two. What do you make of this Lewis woman? Lewis. Because you talk about the cafe scene. So we've got Lewis who's working in the government building and seems to be helping them out, and thankfully she just happens to answer the phone at the right time when they call up as well. It's like they've only got one phone in that government building. But see, I can't work out. I thought she was like a spy or a baddie, and now I'm thinking, oh no, I think she's a goodie. But I felt like she'd been planted in there in day one, because she went in and automatically seemed to be snooping around. So I thought, well, who's behind that? Like, who's put her in there? But now I'm just thinking, is she just an intern that's just got a bit nosy and is now helping them out? I don't know. I can't quite work her character out.
Yeah, we did actually mention that last time. We said she seems a bit suspect. Like
she seems a bit sus. Yeah.
And I honestly can't remember, but it seems at the moment she's just innocently thinking, actually, something's not right here. Like, I'm hearing good things about Torchwood and they keep contacting us to say we can help you with what's going on. But at the same time, I'm seeing reports that you want them killed and stuff like that. So, that's Lois Habiba, right? And she actually meets them at the cafe, doesn't she? And she's out of nowhere, she becomes a really good member of Torchwood.
Yeah.
Because you think at the time, when she first walks in and starts talking to them, that she's literally there just to say something and that's it. Like, by the way, I didn't set up that meeting with Frobisher. He's not coming. I'm just here to tell you that it's those guys that want you dead. Because at that point, Gwen and the other people still think that whoever these people are, so Frobisher, what their team, are they just, I can't remember exactly what their team are within government. Are they Ministry of Defence or MI6 or something like that? And so they still think that it's not those guys that have ordered them to be killed. So, it's the Home Office.
Office,
that they head up, And Yeah, so Gwen and Yanto, they think that Home Office, they can work with them and stuff, and it's Lois's job. She takes it on herself to go and warn them and say, actually, it's these that will actually want you killed. So just sort of be careful. But then she then starts to like give them all the information that they need. She's like, oh, by the way, I've got the floor plans for the prison. I've got this. Here's the person that you need to speak to. Here's the Undertaker's route that he's going to take at this time. So she's like got everything planned for them. And us as the viewer, we're like, this is great. She could be a member of Torchwood. And then that's confirmed when Gwen says, when this is all done, if you need a job, come and see me. Like, you've got a job. So she becomes almost like the fourth member of Torchwood, just very temporarily. So it'll be interesting to see how she progresses in the next few episodes, because I'm pretty sure she's not done with whatever she's doing to aid Torchwood. But it's, yeah, I initially thought the same thing. Was she planted there by somebody, or was she's just very quick and has picked up on the situation and have acted upon it? I'm not sure, but she seems genuinely worried, though, because she does say, I don't know what I'm doing here. Why am I here? Am I about to commit treason by helping you? Or, am I about to, help my boss by, letting them know that you're still alive, sort of thing. So she's a bit conflicted, but yeah, I think in the end it plays out that she's doing the right thing, in her mind anyway, which is very cool. But I love that scene in the cafe, especially when Reese is like, have you got any money, because we're starving?
I need some chips.
and Gwen's a bit... she's a bit surprised and a bit embarrassed at that, because she's like, oh God, I have to ask for money for food. But then when he gets up, she's like, yeah, I'll have steak and chips. And that, thank you very much. Yeah.
I feel like the character of Lois is sort of, you think at this point she could be being introduced as a new member of Torchwood, don't you? Because obviously Torchwood is a bit thin on the ground now. So if I was watching this back in 2009, which I was, I probably at the time thought, oh, I see, we're getting a new member now. But I can't remember what happens to her. I'm assuming she's going to die, because we know that she doesn't go on to be in Torchwood. Maybe she just turns it down. I don't know. Don't know what happens to her. But I'm intrigued by her character. It's quite funny how Gwen just keeps inviting people to join the team, like that Doctor and now Lois. It's like, yeah, come and join Torchwood. And yet if you think back to... who's the chap that was following Barrowman around, Captain Jack around, desperately wanted to join, and he kept shutting the door in his face. And, they're normally quite cagey about letting anyone anywhere near Torchwood. Like, no, you can't just join. And yet Gwen's just turning around to everyone left, right and centre and being like, yeah, come on in. It's a great team. Come and join us.
Well, she did appoint herself as recruitment officer, I think.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the first episode, yeah. You're right, though, yeah. Just come in.
Yeah. The door's open. Door's on the latch. Just let yourself in. And Jack's like, argh. Actually, we should talk about Jack. What do you think about this thing? Because obviously he's indestructible. And we take that as, up until this point, we just think, yeah, it doesn't matter if he falls off a building or he gets shot or stabbed, he'll just, come back alive. I mean, this is pushing it to the absolute limit. This is really confirming that no matter what you do to him, he will survive. So he gets blown to pieces. Literally, it's just a head and an arm and a leg, and they just put all the body parts in a bag, and yet he rejuvenates and comes back, as good as new. It's, I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Obviously it's a bit ridiculous, but then if you're going to worry about that, you may as well worry about everything in Torchwood. Do you know what I mean? You kind of have to go with it. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? So he's just a head and he can actually grow back a full body. It's pushing the imagination limits just a little bit, I think. But
I think, it's definitely interesting the way they handled it.
Yeah.
Because up to now, because it's been the times that we've seen Jack die, like when he's in Doctor Who and he gets zapped by a Dalek, you obviously don't see any blood or anything. You just see the typical, this is what you do in drama school when you get shot, you scream and you fall on the floor. And that's it. You don't see anything. It's not until he just wakes up and takes a really big inhale. It's like, oh, he's back to life again. It's all good. So it all seemed very superficial at first when you see him get killed and everything else. But this one, I genuinely thought, right, well, they're going to gather up all of his body parts and they're somehow going to be stitched back together somehow, the whole thing. But it's actually quite graphic how you see.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't want to put anyone off their breakfast or their dinner if they're listening at that time of the day. But it's kind of, and if you've not seen it, listener, basically what happens is, they find his arm and then they find his head or his, his torso, whatever, and they put it in little body bags, don't they?
Yeah.
But then later on, when they're at the compound and there's just an empty body bag in the cell, you see the body bag start to almost looks like when you're inflating an airbed. You see like very like small parts of it of the body bag just start to, excuse the pun, be fleshed out a little bit. And then you think, okay, that's all they're going to do. At some point, they're going to unzip the bag and he's going to be fully regened and it's all good. But then there's another scene where they unzip the bag and it's just a skeleton that's got flesh starting to grow on it and stuff. And you think, crikey, that is strong. That's really
And the bit
strong.
when he screams and he's just like a flesh sort of monster. That's quite graphic, isn't it?
And then the next time you see it on the security camera, he's actually properly done. He's stick a fork in him. He's done. He's back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's back to normal. That's what I mean. It's a bit. I think it's well handled. I think it's done well because it does sell. It's quite a ridiculous idea, really, but it is sold to me because of the way they do it, the way it's shot and filmed and stuff. It does make it, for want of a better word, believable. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, but I think they handle it well. I don't know, something about just seeing it in different stages of growing back and Jack screaming as this sort of flesh creature, and then, I suppose the only thing that is when he is back, he's just back to, perfection. Just looks like Captain Jack, like a newborn baby, basically. But yeah, I think it's done well. It does sell the idea, I think.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Because there's two ways you can go with that. You can either leave it alone, like you do, and sometimes that's quite effective, where when you don't see something graphically on screen, you just let your mind fill in the gaps, and however you imagine Captain Jack being put back together and coming back to life is up to you. But the other way is to graphically show it.
Yeah, and also, but they didn't show it because that's what I mean. I think you just said there, they leave a lot of it to your imagination, don't they? Because you don't actually see any CGI'd bits growing. You don't sort of see the arm. You don't sort of see him physically moving. You just see different stages. So they open the bag and there's a bit more of a skeleton there, and she says, well, that was just a head a minute ago. And so they don't, there's no sort of CGI, or you don't see it physically growing. So a lot of it's just left to your imagination. Like you said, the moving of the bag, you see the skeleton, and then later on you see he's all fleshed out, and then you see him later on back to normal. So it's kind of, a lot of it is just left to, in your mind that in that bag he's sort of growing, but they don't actually show it. Which I think is good. You'd imagine they might have said in sort of the production meetings, we're going to show a CGI of the hand, fleshing out or growing. They don't show any of that. They just leave a lot of it to your imagination, which I think actually works better.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. Yeah, no, I agree. But it was an interesting episode to leave it that long, because it really is a Jack light episode. He doesn't say anything until the last 15 minutes, really. He starts screaming on the...
when they pour the cement on him, that's gross, isn't it?
Yeah, when they fill the cell up with cement, that is pretty gross. But
that's horrible, yeah.
And it's not until the very end, so after Yanto has taken the cement block, burst it out of the thing and then drops it over the quarry.
Yeah.
And it explodes and, he's free.
He does that.
Yeah, he does
back
that
to
thing.
life. I thought that was a good moment, actually, the forklift, and it's these are the sort of things I think is great in the RTD era. There's these just moments of, oh yes, you sort of punch in the air. That was really good moments. I was going to say about Jack.
He's back to his old self, isn't he? Right at the end.
Yeah, he's back to his, that's what I mean. They hand him a towel to cover himself up, and he just throws it over his shoulder, which is such a Jack thing to do. But I was going to say, I suppose by having this thing now, that we know he's immortal, but by having him blown up to pieces and regrow back, I mean, that really does cement the idea that it doesn't matter what you ever did to him. I mean, is there any way to kill Jack, is what I'm saying. I suppose this really does confirm that it doesn't matter what you do to him, he will always come back, I suppose. I guess. This is, I can't think of any other limits you could push this to.
Yeah, so it's interesting, because I think the character Johnson says that to Frobisher she says, we have a problem, you know. That's all she gives him for this episode is problem. She's always on the phone like, yeah, they've got away or there's a problem. But she phones him and she's like, yeah, I think she says something like his Lazarus, thing is, coming back to haunt us kind of thing. Basically saying to him, like, we thought he was dead. We thought he was blown to bits, like you said. But now he's back. And I think Frobisher is like, Jesus, I can't believe it. So, yeah, how do you kill him? How do you...
Yeah, if you were a villain, how would you kill Captain Jack? Because even the brain, I'm assuming, because I was thinking if the brain was destroyed, surely there's no way that could grow back. Like, what is it that makes Jack immortal? She says something in this about the rift in Cardiff Bay or something. Is they believe the energy from it is keeping him alive, which I don't buy at all. Because I have always assumed... I could be wrong. I've always assumed that the reason that Jack's immortal is because of Rose saving him in what was it called? Parting of the Ways.
Yes,
that's what I assume. Yeah. That's why he's immortal, because she brings him back to life and he's never the same again. So I don't know. Maybe the government have just put two and two together and got it wrong. But yeah, I didn't really get that line.
Yeah, I think maybe she's guessing that's what it is, or that's just what they think.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Yeah. But how would you kill him? He is indestructible then.
Well, pretty much, yeah. According to this episode, he's even when you literally blow him to bits, he can come back. So it
is funny. I can't get over it. It kind of makes you laugh. They're blown to pieces. It's so ridiculous and outrageous, but I kind of love it.
Yeah. Yanto had not quite as big a job to do in this one as Gwen. He was just sort of keeping his head down for most of it. It's not until he's only in it for 2 bits, really. There's the bit where he meets up with his sister. He left her a card to say, meet me where Dad took us to the park, and with the laptop and stuff like that. And they have a nice conversation. I think there's a little bit of backstory there with Yanto. I think he said, meet me at the bit where Dad broke my leg or something. And
that's it.
His sister's like, he didn't mean to break your leg and blah, blah, blah. So you get a little bit of backstory between his family and stuff like that. So he gets a laptop and and he's off. And then later on, he turns up at the end with the forklift. So not quite as much to do as Gwen had in this one, but he's still very cool though. He had a really good performance in this one.
Yeah. I think the scenes of him and his sister are quite nice. I think that's a good pairing of actors. That they both work really well together. Those two, I think. I quite like his sister. She feels like quite a good, believable character. So yeah, I like their relationship. It feels like a brother-sister relationship. The stuff they're talking about, the sort of secrets that he's telling her, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it wasn't in as much, but it's a great scene at the end with the forklift, I thought.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's as if Janta, he's like, because obviously him and Jack are a couple now. So I don't know if they mentioned it, but it's like he's really like fighting for Jack, which I like. When he bursts in to save him, I'm like, yeah, go Yanto. He's, when he's given stuff to do, I think he's pretty good. Yeah.
No, I agree, dude. And what did you think to some of the other stuff that was going on? So we've spoken about Lois and how she kind of suspects what's going on, something isn't right, and she meets up with Gwen and Reese and stuff. But the whole thing we've got this sub-story that's going alongside the 456 where the Prime Minister still doesn't want to get his hands dirty, so he's given all of this stuff to sort out to Frobisher, to sort out who's the head of the Home Office, obviously, and he's kind of in cahoots, isn't he, with this other dude. What's his name? His name is
that's he's a bit suspicious as well.
Yeah.
Don't know his name. I
think
you
his
mean
name's
the guy
Decker.
who's talking about? Yeah, the guy who's doing the box. You talking about him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Decker, who's been charged with building this device. So early on in the episode, the signal and everything that they've picked up on, Decker has said to him, "Look, this is actually instructions. We need to build something." So they build this glass chamber thing, and they figured out that it needs to be filled with like a sort of concoction of different gases and stuff which are actually poisonous to humans and whatnot. And so we got that side of the story as well with the 456, which we said earlier, we still don't know exactly what they are, who they are, what their motives are, but that little side story is kind of cool. So
but Decker almost seems to be reveling, because there's something a bit suspicious about him. He's at the end, he's like looking at the box. It's like almost as if he can't wait for them to arrive, and he's got a bit of a seems to have a bit of needle with Frobisher as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Like you said,
something's up with
they're
him.
coming for the UK. I wonder why that is. And then looks at Frobisher as if to say, you should know, and all this sort of stuff. So again, there's a good little sort of thread being thrown in there, I think.
Yes, there is. Yeah, and there's a little bit of a plot there that's going on, which is a cool little story in itself. So Frobisher says to the Prime Minister, "Thank you very much for charging me with this project," you know. And the Prime Minister's quite cold. He's like, "Well, all I've done is put you on the front line, so if anything happens, you know, you fall with the project," sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
Capaldi plays that very well. He
does.
crushed almost. And and then you have the other thing with Frobisher and Decker. So Decker's the other guy that's been charged with building this thing. And he gives Frobisher a few little glances throughout the story, and you think something's not right with this dude. And at the very end, where he takes his glasses off and he breathes on the glass and looks at the gas and stuff, it's almost like something's not right with him. I think he's one of the 4, 5, 6. I'm guessing. That's my prediction. I think he's there because everything's built so perfectly by him, and he understands what's going on, and the way that he embraces the thing at the end and puts his hands on it, and it's very unnatural and very alien, literally alien, the way he's doing that. So I'm going to call it. I think he's part of it. I don't think he's human. No.
You don't think he's human? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure. I could
be wrong because I can't remember, but it just seems like he's he's gradually starting to become more alien with it.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, there's definitely something a bit sus about him. Yeah, definitely. But do you know what I love about Capaldi's performance in this is that, I don't know about you, but I never, even when I'm watching it, I don't sit there and think, he's nothing like the Doctor, basically. He feels like a totally different character to me. Like, I don't sit there and think, oh, he's playing it just like the Doctor. Oh, he always does that same role. You know what I mean? It feels like a totally different character, and it's good because I was worried. I probably haven't watched this series since Capaldi took over as the Doctor, and I was worried that going back and watching it, I'd be thinking, oh, it's the Doctor all the way through. But it doesn't even enter my mind. I never sit there and think, oh, he feels like the Doctor, or that, oh, that's a bit Doctorish the way he said that, or he's just playing it totally different. Obviously, he wouldn't have played the Doctor at this point, but you know what I'm saying. He's a good versatile actor, Capaldi. He just feels like a totally different character, which is good because otherwise I think it would have taken me out of the story a little bit. I liked the bit where his daughters pretended they were possessed, and they were like, we want a pony, we want a pony. He's like, yes, whatever. You know, I thought that was a nice little scene.
Bloody kids.
Yeah,
taking
reminded me a little bit of Sarah Jane saying Eldred must live, and then laughing. You know, it's just a nice little.
That was cool, actually.
Little joke, yeah.
And it's also a good way of doing the countdown as well, isn't it? Instead of like in the old days of Doctor Who or some of the older sci-fi things where you just have a big ominous red countdown clock, you know, that's counting down to visually say, you know, this thing's coming. It was cool the way they've done the kids being taken over again, and the speech changes. So in day one, it was like, we are coming or something. And then they change it at the end. It's like, we are coming soon or something. And now in this one, it's like, we are coming tomorrow. And then at the very end, it's like, we are here. So that's a very cool way of, again, providing that ominous, looming kind of thing. It's very good. Yeah, that was cool. The last thing I just want to mention, actually, that's the only thing I've got left on my notes, is the you know, this Johnson character. Do you feel like, you know, at the end where they've surrounded Gwen and Reese and they've got nowhere to go, do you think that they would have been killed at that point because her motive and her main thing, the reason why she's been hired by Frobisher is to kill the Torchwood team? But at the end, it feels like she was about to capture them because Gwen surrenders and she's about to put her guns on the floor, and she's just standing there and she hasn't done anything. She hasn't given the order for them to be shot, because throughout the entire episode, she was just on the heels of them and she was ready to kill them at the drop of a hat. Yeah. Whereas at the end there, Gwen surrendered and she didn't do anything. Do you think that she's an interesting character and might progress any more, or do you think she's just literally, you know, she's got her assassination squad and that's it?
She is a good character. She's well played as well. I think the actor delivers a really good performance because she's playing that sort of villainous, quite cold character that can be a bit boring, but she manages to give a bit of an edge to the character. I think I have a feeling that once the guns were put down, she probably would have said, once she knew she wasn't going to get shot by Gwen, she probably would have said, right, open fire. I feel like she was just covering her back to make sure she didn't get shot because, let's face it, Gwen was ready to pump a few bullets into her. So, I think she's just covering her back a bit there, possibly. You know what I mean? Just lower the guns. As soon as the guns are down, she probably would have said, kill them or something.
Yeah, I read you. Yeah.
What's the actress's name? Because she's pretty good so far.
Liz May Bryce.
Yeah, she looks a bit familiar as well. I feel like I've seen her in other stuff, but I'm liking her so far. I hope there is a bit more to her character because I feel she's played the part well so far, and I think she's probably got more to give. But you're right, because she could just be a bit of a side character. I'm not too sure at the minute.
Yeah. And then just lastly, there's a funny scene where Yanto's sister needs to go off and deliver the laptop to Yanto, but their house is under observation. So later on, her husband and a load of kids are out terrorizing the government dudes and rocking their car and stuff, and she sneaks off. But there's another bloody naked scene, when they come in and steam in the house. They whip the duvet off and he's there.
Poor old Johnny.
Yeah, old Johnny naked, and he's... Yeah,
I felt sorry for him actually because he has to do that scene where he's naked, which is totally unnecessary. There's no like I said, with Barrowman you can understand it. Of course, he's been reborn; he would be naked. Okay, but with Johnny, there's no call for that nudity at all. But also, he does try to help as well, and he just gets shot down in flames. I felt a bit sorry for him. He's when he's shouting to try and cover up because he thinks the house is bugged, and he's sort of shouting to cover it up, but his wife doesn't really get that at all, does she? She thinks he's just being an idiot. So I felt a bit sorry for Johnny in this.
Yeah, he does try.
I don't know what the actor's name is, but the character Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny. Rhodri Lewis. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, cool guy. Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah.
Have you got anything on your notes, buddy, to go through before we score this?
No, I don't think so, mate. No, I think we've pretty much gone through it. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's you to go first.
Okay, well, that's fine because I actually sometimes I struggle to score episodes, but I gave day 1 an 8 and I enjoyed this just as much, so I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
An 8 as well, nice.
Yeah, so 8 and 8 so far for this series.
Yeah, it's an 8 for me as well, dude.
Is it? Oh, great. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Snap on that one again. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Same, dude. We gave 8s, didn't we both? Yeah, last one. So yeah, just really enjoyable Torchwood. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, and a good story that seems to be just building really nicely. That's why I'm hoping it carries on because it's really good so far. Yeah. Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, it's good. What did our listeners think? We had a few over on the Twitter and the Facebook. So we had Will Sanger, TARDISnet on Twitter, saying great continuation, high stakes, with the characters being vulnerable and on the run and putting them in great danger. I love how it explores the true extent of Jack's immortal abilities in a very grotesque way. Also begins to explore more government corruption and cover-ups. Yeah, in that respect, it does feel very X-Files-y.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like that. And, right, okay, so Ian, Doctor Who Holmes, says, intense and gripping, the cement set piece is great fun, and I love how the mystery keeps developing. Capaldi still shines as the best cast member. An 8 out of 10. And our writer, Jordan, says, still another decent episode. The cement scene was fantastic. This series, I remember, was excellent when it was shown through 1 week. The performances were top-notch. It gets a lot sadder and darker from here, though.
Does it? I can't remember.
Jordan.
I have a feeling Jordan.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Cheers, Jordan. Over on Facebook, Harry Marciniak, one of our writers as well, says, all I can remember about this one is all the bits of Jack come back together because Jack is freaking invincible, and how funny it is that when he is naked and handed a towel at the end, he slings it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
But this serial is so good. Can't wait for your reviews, especially on the later episodes.
Cool.
Cheers, Harry. Another one of our writers, Mark Donaldson, said Children of Earth is a dark satire that's probably become more relevant in our current moment. It's also pathologically incapable of not being Torchwood. Captain Jack's grisly ordeal is eventually laughed off by John Barrowman getting his bum out in a quarry. Yes, you are correct, Mark. And
Yeah.
lastly, Joseph says, this is definitely by far one of the best stories that Torchwood has come up with. It's gritty and intense, and it just adds to the mystery of the children saying that something over and over, as well as freezing in place when this happens. Can't wait for the next part. A 9 out of 10.
Oh, cool. 9 out of 10.
A 9, very cool. So thank you very much, dudes, for your reviews and scores as always. It's an 8 from both of us on this one, and we'll see what happens when we get to day 3 the week after next. But for next week, dude, what's our review then?
So we'll be doing a Troughton episode next week. Sadly, we won't get to see his lovely expressionate face on screen because it'll be an animation one, and it's the faceless ones. So the faceless ones next week.
Gatwick Airport, hey?
Yeah, I can't remember much of this, so it won't surprise anyone. Yeah.
This is Ben and Polly,
recent.
I think, this story.
Yeah, is it a fairly recent release? I've lost track of these animations.
The faceless ones. Yeah, I think it wasn't that long ago, but I don't think it was released on DVD and Blu-ray and whatnot.
Quick look.
I think it was 2000 and whenever it was, 2006, 2007, 2020.
Yeah, it's all animation though, isn't it?
There's
There's no actual episodes, is there? From what I remember, I think it's all animation.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Yeah. So Faces one's next week.
Yeah, I think it's a 6-parter initially.
Oh, episodes 1 and 3 of the serial exist. Oh, actually, maybe there is some of it. Anyway, yeah, we'll be doing that next week.
Yeah, the faceless ones. Yeah, it should be good. So some second Doctor action. Right, dude. I think we'll wrap it there for episode 340.
Alrighty.
Thank you for listening to this week. That was episode 340. It was really cool to talk through day 2, Children of Earth on Torchwood. So thank you very much again for your reviews and scores on that one. Next week, as Adam said, it's classic Doctor Who, second Doctor story, The Faceless Ones. So get your DVDs and Blu-rays or BritBox fired up and get that watched, because we'll be asking for your thoughts and reviews as always. In the meantime, make sure you follow the podcast on your fave podcast app. Just do a search for the Big Blue Box podcast. You'll find us on there. Or head over to bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk/listen, and that will give you a bunch of links to go off to all the big popular podcast platforms and networks. So make sure you do that so you won't miss a show when it lands every Friday. And you can listen to the episodes on the website as well. Also on the website, read all of the articles and reviews from our writing team. The most recent one's from Mark. It was an article around bringing back deceased actors to play current parts in Big Finish and other spin-off media. It's a very cool article, so check that out. We're on the socials too, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Links on the website. Come and get involved over there and hop into the free Discord server too. Again, links on the website. Also, don't forget to check out Adam's stuff over on YouTube. Please remember to do that. It's The Geek's Handbag, so go and check that out.
Yeah, don't remember to check out my channel.
Sorry. Go and do it now. And Adam's on the socials too, under the same name, The Geek's Handbag, so come and get involved on everything Doctor Who over there. Until next time for episode 341, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Aaaaaaaallons-y.